What's up, everybody? My name is Kapell. Someone asked me the other day, "Hey Jay, how does a bill get created?" So, in the White House, you got two different sections. So you got the House of Representatives, and this house has about 435 members. And so let's just give you an example. So a congressman, either a congressperson or a senator pitches an idea. Let's just give an example, a stimulus check. Let's say someone comes up with the stimulus check idea, and the committee, it can either come from the executive branch. You know how like they used to teach you this. Well, when I was growing up, they used to teach us about the branches: executive, judicial, you know. But let's say it came from the executive branch. So a senator or a congressperson says, "Hey, let's do a stimulus check bill." So someone pitches the idea to the House committee. The House committee has to get like 235 votes. I think 235 or 238, I think, to get the bill, to get it to go back to the House. And then they vote on it. So right now there's more. That's why this election is so important, because a lot of this has to deal with the House. The Republicans want to take over the House right now. Right now we have a little bit more Democrats in the House than Republicans. But it starts, it could start both ways, but it starts here, they vote on it. And then if it gets passed, then it goes to the Senate. Now, right here. So just picture this. This is the Senate. Sorry, I'm just doodling. I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand, so it's kind of hard to, write all perfect. There's about 100 senators, and right now the leader. Let's just pretend like it's a gang. Is Nancy Pelosi. She's the speaker for mostly she represents the House of Democrats, because she's a Democratic. So another word, Nancy Pelosi. So another word, does anybody know what another word for a Democrat is? That would be a liberal. So if someone says a liberal, socialist, Republicans usually attack. So once the bill gets passed, if they get enough votes, and they're voting between the Republicans and the Democrats all in this right here. And they just need to get enough votes to get the bill passed. Then it goes to the Senate. The Senate floor is controlled by the Speaker, Mitch McConnell. His nickname is Moscow. Some people call him Moscow Mitch. He hates that. The reason why they call him Moscow Mitch McConnell is because supposedly he's been working with the Russians. So he hates that because he doesn't want to. So these guys could, they could destroy the bill or not, they can automatically say, we don't want it to go through. Does anybody know the name for a Republican? Another word for Republican? That'd be a conservative. Okay. So you have liberals and conservatives. So you got your Democrats, which are liberals. Democrats. And you got your Republicans, which are conservatives. So have you guys been paying attention to the midterm elections? The Democrats aren't doing too good. They're losing in almost every state. So you got Dr. Oz and Fetterman in Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz isn't even from Pennsylvania. He's from New Jersey. Fetterman just had a stroke. So his, his his votes are dropping, and Dr. Oz is winning in Pennsylvania. So he's running for senator. There's people. Carrie Lake is running for governor in Arizona. She's a Republican. Dr. Oz was also nominated by Trump, so was Carrie Lake. Herschel Walker, a guy that was a ex-football player back in the days, he says he was not for abortion. I mean, he's against abortions, but yet his ex had a letter saying that she paid him off to get an abortion, so that just caught him in a lie. It's not making him look good. But the Republicans are still, they're kind of standing back, but they're still being supportive. Who else? Senator Masto Cortez in Nevada. She's losing by 5 points to Adam Laxalt. Now, Senator Cortez is a Democrat. I voted for her. I'm a liberal, but honestly, I believe that the Liberal Party is really weak. I wish I would have took school a little bit more serious, because this fight, voting, like, I know a lot of people say that voting doesn't matter, but just think about in other countries where they can't vote. So it is your duty as an American to, your freedom to vote. A lot of things are on the line right now. Social Security, Medicare. There's like 2 senators from Florida who want to cut Social Security, the money that you put in. So like when you work, you get your paychecks, they take a little portion out of your paychecks. So if you've been working since you were 16 years old, by the time you're 65 years old, you get all that money back. That's your Social Security. But if you get hurt, or you have like a heart problem or something, then that's you can get disability, but you have to go through the process of getting a medical doctor and all this. And so yeah, so you can get early disability, and you get that every month. What you put into, like, the jobs you put into, is how much is you're gonna get back when you supposedly get old and retire. That's your money because you put into it. But there's 2 Republicans in Florida. They want to cut Social Security and Medicare every 5 years. But this one senator wants to cut Social Security and Medicare every year. He just doesn't think 5 years is enough time to cut And they could do it. All they need to do is right now, looking at it, they seems like all they have to do is gain 5 seats in the House, and that's what they're trying to do. The headlines say they want to take over the House. Why is that important? That's because like when the Democrats had an idea, they'd vote on it and it would get over here. And a lot of times, because this was controlled by, there's more Republicans in the Senate, it would just get vetoed and wouldn't pass. That's why on your guys, when you guys were trying to get the second stimulus bill check when Trump was in office, it was hard for you guys to get it because they didn't want to give it up, the Republicans, because there was that PP pay protection loan, PP pay protection loan during the PPP whatever. But yeah, so there was that going on. Now that was during COVID, so basically businesses and all that, they were, one of the senators, Marjorie Greene, she got like $2 million back. And you guys are happy about a $1,500 stimulus check, while these senators, because of Trump's tax, he was given not tax cuts, but he was given like benefit taxes for big businesses and all this, and people were cashing in. And there was also some people doing illegal, the PP pre-protection loan things, and they haven't been able to track those people down that were doing fraud, because a lot of people got caught with fraud, but there was no way for a lot of them got away with it, but that's changed. They've cracked down on that because it really hurt us. Now the inflation is caused because of COVID, and the Federal Reserve has did for, so the Federal Reserve now, because of inflation, they're the guys in the background trying to raise the interest rates either up or down. They got to do it just right. So why do they do that? They're trying to get inflation down. But it's not an easy thing to do. It's almost like steering it or grabbing a lever. You got to do it just right. Because if you don't do it right, guess what happens, guys? What do you guys think happens? So that, when the Federal Reserve raises the interest rates and stuff, that affects a lot of people's credit cards, housing, when you're buying a house, your mortgage rates and stuff like that. That's what the Federal Reserve, does. They mess with the interest rates, and but they do it it's not because they want to do it, it's because they're trying to get inflation down. But if they don't do it just right, guess what happens to you guys, to all of us? We go into, we go into a recession. And when that happens, some people say we're already there. But you'll know when we're really there. You know why? Because everywhere in America, people will be laid off, collecting unemployment because there's no jobs. See, the Federal Reserve has a tough job. They got to mess with that control just right, like a video game. They can't go too hard. They can't go too soft on it. I mean, there's professionals back there that mess with this stuff. So a lot's at store. Like I said, it's important that we vote. A lot of the next gen, the new generation, they think voting is so 20th century. They're stuck in the bubble, looking at their cell phones most of the time. Most of them think they already know everything. And even though all the knowledge is there on the internet, it doesn't make us like godlike. I'll just say this. I used to think there was a lot of smart people in America, and I don't think that I'm that smart, but after seeing a lot of people believe in conspiracies and stuff like that, and then invading the Capitol and believing, like I've worked all around Reno, and the stories that I hear, and I try to listen to both sides, and like I think the Democratic Party is really weak. There's no real, like a lot of people have gotten so scared that they, like Alexandria Cortez, not Senator Catherine Master Cortez, but the other one. She used to be very vocal when she became a senator, but ever since that, invasion in the Capitol, you don't really hear her talking as much. She just kind of like does her job. But that was one of the things that I admired about her, that she was vocal and but she was a threat, and you could tell because they would always attack her. She would put me in there. I'll be proud to like run against them and voice, my opinion. I wouldn't show no fear. I'm a diehard Bernie Sanders fan. A lot of people don't like him because they consider him a socialist, but everything that he talked about is everything that what America's going through. High prescription. I mean, he's the reason why Amazon employees got paid $15 an hour, because they were getting paid a lot less. He touches on things that really matter: affordable housing, high prescription drugs, pharmaceuticals, making bank off prescription drugs, and not making it affordable for people. I mean, it's crazy how much one pill can cost someone that doesn't have insurance or anything like that. Having healthcare insurance, that's important. Before, like, one thing that he said a long time ago, when he was growing up, a father could support his family, go to work and support his whole family, pay the rent, everything, and support his whole family. Nowadays, you got a husband and a wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, both working, and they still can't make it. They got to choose between rent or food. And that's not the kind of America that we should be growing up in. So like Barack, Harry Reid, he was a senator. He passed away. But he was a senator of Nevada for the longest time. He did he was a senator for like about 8 years. I think you can only be senator every 2 years you have to keep, running. But he's the one that found Obama. And now Harry Reid's actually from Reno. He grew up when this town was it was like the mining town. So then he became a powerful speaker. I think he was doing Nancy Pelosi's job before. He was like running the House. But anyways, Obama was a senator, because once you become a governor, I think he was governor of Chicago at once. Then he became. Then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna run for senator." And he became senator. So when you become senator, you become senator of whatever state you want to represent. And I'm thinking it's Chicago. And then Harry Reid was like, he put a lot of money behind Obama. Said, "What? I think you're very smart, intelligent." And then you know what happened? He became president. So there's different ways of becoming a president. You could be a governor. You could be, once you become governor, you can run for president. And if you're a senator, you can run for president. Or you could be like Trump, who was just a businessman, where a lot of people pushed money behind him, and he became president. And that's one of the things that I hear a lot about from a lot of people that I work with, saying that, one of the things they talk about is like the borders. Let me tell you something about the borders, guys. The borders have been like this since George Bush, since Ronald Reagan, since George Bush Sr., since George Bush Jr., since Clinton. It didn't start becoming a real issue until Trump talked about it. And I'm just gonna be honest. They didn't do anything about it. If you want to blame anybody, why don't you blame? And most of those presidents were all Republicans except Clinton, President Bill Clinton. He was a Democrat. Ronald Reagan, he's the one that told the president in Berlin to tear down that wall. So obviously he doesn't believe in borders. Borders isn't, making a wall isn't gonna, keep us safe. It's just a wall. But so yeah, there's a lot on the line. Medicare, Social Security. Like I said, the Democrats are losing. It's head to head, and the Democrats are almost losing in every state. So my prediction is they will take over the House. And once they do that, they can come up with any bill they want. And then since there's a lot of Republicans in here, there's that one astronaut guy that's like a senator, the one, Kelly. He's in the Senate right now. And he's running again too, because his term already, it just seems like yesterday. If you guys don't know who Kelly is, a NASA astronaut. He became a senator. He was an astronaut that became a senator, and his 2-year term is up, and he's running for a re-election again too. And even his seat is open. There's a bunch of little seats in here, guys. And that's what it's all about. This is what power is. And what they do is they want to control the House. Once they control the House, they can come up with any bill, or they can veto any bill. And a lot of times, since there was a lot of Democrats, when, it would become a bill and it would get here, and then Mitch and his, since there were so many Republicans there, they would just veto it right away. Now, once it does become a bill, it goes to the president, and then he has to either vote on it and, sign it and make it into a bill. He has like 10 days. If he doesn't sign it or vote on it, it becomes a pocket veto. But if it goes in like 10 days, then if it goes within the 10-day period, it can actually become a bill. If there's business in Congress, like scheduled business days, it can actually become a bill without his permission. So if you guys hear the word filibuster, filibuster. So basically, a filibuster is just a senator talking about a bill and just going on and on about it and basically stalling. They call it a filibuster. So basically, they'll just argue over and over and over. So just stalling time so it doesn't become a bill. And then a lot of people are against the filibusters because that's all they do is talk. Talk and talk and talk and complain and talk. And then nothing, no progress, happens. So I hope you guys learned through this sloppy jalopy. So you got your house. There's like 435 senators in the House of Representatives, who's controlled by Nancy Pelosi. You got your Senate, who's the speaker is Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch. So it starts here. Then once they vote on the bill, it goes here. If it passes here, then they send it to the president, and if the president approves it, it becomes a bill. So, sorry for the sloppiness. I hope you learned something today, boys and girls. Till we meet again. Ha 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 ha. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I just wanted to close it out with, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going out there. Like the election was stolen. They're using fear tactics. The Republicans are using fear tactics, saying, that the Democrats want to defund the police, which isn't true because Senator Catherine Master Cortez is for the police, and she's putting money into Nevada for the police, so she's not trying to defund the police. I can understand, we're going through, high inflation and gas prices. A lot of it isn't really anything that the president is doing. A lot of it, Saudi Arabia controls that, and the people that own gas, they're taking that money, and those stockholders they're taking that money and investing it into their stockholders. So that's one of the reasons why gas keeps going up. And Saudi Arabia OPEC did a 2% raise on gas. I don't care who you vote for. The reason why I talk about conspiracy theories because look at Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if you guys been paying attention, but some wacko broke into her house. She was at the White House, working, and her husband was in bed, and this dude broke into her house and was talking to him while he was asleep, and then her husband woke up, and the dude had a hammer, some zip ties, and some duct tape, and they had an elevator in the house, and so her husband had went into the elevator and put it on speakerphone and was calling 911, and the guy Poppy or whatever, he was in the background saying, "Oh, I'm a friend of theirs," trying to diffuse the situation. But luckily, whoever was the dispatcher person was, she put that call. She knew something was up, that something just wasn't right. And so when the police arrived, the husband was trying, the dude he was trying to hit him with the hammer. And the husband had his hand, holding the dude's, the hammer, the dude, his arm and his hand and the hammer so that he wouldn't get hit with it. But as soon as the police arrived, they saw the two men. And so, the husband thought everything would be okay. But the dude ended up like, you know, smashing his smashing her husband's skull in. And it's because of the rhetoric that Donald Trump has. You know, you go to Fox News and stuff, and they'll just, I could turn it on right now, and they'll just, that's their whole thing is just bashing Democrats all day. They'll twist the story around. And if you're uneducated, you'll believe it. And that's how this whole riot in the Capitol started. The reason why I say this is because they're trying to destroy our democracy, and our democracy is very important. It's, you know, the principles, you know, there, you know, when Trump was president, Mike Pence, who was the vice president, I mean, even though he's a Republican, he did the right thing because Trump wanted Mike Pence to overturn the election, you know, to get the votes so that he would win again. But even though he knew that that wasn't the right thing to do, that's why when all those people went into the Capitol and they were like saying, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" You know, she's the leader of the House of Representatives. They were hiding. So that dude that broke into her house said the exact same thing that those people that invaded the Capitol. They said, "Where's Nancy?" He asked her husband, "Where's Nancy?" And you guys seen how small Nancy Pelosi is, right? She's like a toothpick. Just one hit from a hammer would knock her out. She'd be dead. But this is the rhetoric that goes on, like racism, like I was born. I'm, you know, half and half. You know, half Filipino, half Hispanic, a little bit of black. I mean, I was born in Alabama. So America was built, do the history, look into the history. America was built on immigrants. You go to New Orleans, what do you have? The French Quarters. You got French. I mean, the thing that makes America great is the diversity of cultures that we have in America. It'd be boring if we didn't have different mixtures of cultures and races. And that's what makes America great. It's not, you know, you hear people, oh, you know, they act like they own America. Like the people that are claiming that they're patriotic and they're saying that they want to still take your weapons away, they can't take your guns away because it's in the Constitution, the right to bear arms. They can't. All they want to do is just ban assault weapons, you know, that are used in war, you know, because of all the killings and shootings and stuff like that, and have tighter restrictions. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it, and I've gotten in trouble with guns. So, you know, coming from a person that used to have a lot of guns, I don't see anything wrong with it. I had 9mm, 45s, you name it, and I got them all off the street. But that's the old me. The old me used to not care, but kind of changed. So, like I said, I don't care who you vote for, conservative, Republican, or liberal, Democrat, as long as you vote. Because there's a lot of countries that they don't have a voice, and they want change. And we need younger folks to vote out there, because they're not voting like they used to when Barack Obama was running. There was more younger people voting, and so. Well, I'm signing off. Hope you guys learned something. Like I said, all the people that are running, they're trying to take over this right here, the House, and they're doing it. Once the Republicans take over the House, since there's a lot more Republicans in the Senate than there is Democrats, they'll control these two chambers and basically be able to control our lives. So I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, they can't cut Social Security. A lot of people will be pissed off. They could do anything they want and not even give a damn. And yeah. So, my mom, God bless her, she's always looking for the best in people, but unfortunately, the world's sometimes very cutthroat and unforgiving. So, hope you guys learned something. Signing off. Take care. Before I sign off, one last thing. Growing up on Saturday mornings, they had this cartoon called Schoolhouse Rock, and you could find it on YouTube. It's called "I'm a Bill." I'm just a Bill. It's like a song and stuff, but it teaches you about government, and it's something that isn't being taught today. When I was growing up, we used to do the Pledge of Allegiance. They got rid of that. And they want to talk about patriotism. Well, you can start off like that. But we're living in such a woke culture that everything we're like going backwards in history instead of forward. I could tell you that. I mean, I've, seen changes in some of the things that are going on. I just can't even believe that they're going on. Anyways, take care, guys. Signing off.